In this demonstration, I'm going to clean the parts that are soaking in the Varsol bath. So first I'm going to get the cleaning supplies that I need from the cleaning supplies drawer. I'm going to need dish soap and a dish brush. I'll put those right there. I'm going to install the dish rack into the sink, just like that. And then I'm going to get the parts out of the Varsol bath. So I like to drain all of the Varsol out, tip the lid over, and transfer the parts into the lid. Now these parts have been soaking in the Varsol for about 10 minutes, so they should be free of oil at this point. So I'll bring these over and put them in the dish rack. Now some of these parts can fall through the dish rack, so be careful about that. This part right here wants to get away. And finally, I'll put the lid back on the Varsol. Okay, so these gloves were the gloves that I had on when I was doing the abrasion process, and I really need clean gloves because if I, put contaminants into the cleaning process, then we won't actually get a clean surface. So I need to change my gloves to get clean ones. So I'll get gloves from down here. First I'll just take these off and throw them in the garbage.
I had to do it yesterday. Oh no, I didn't see more of it.
Okay, so I'm going to use lots of soap and lots of hot water to clean these. Okay, so turn the hot water on and just have a constant flow. I'll take the brush and I'm just going to pour lots of soap into it. A good amount for now. And just rinse the parts off, get any remaining Varsol off, and I'll do that all before I start with the soap. And one thing I want to show you is that these parts do not have a break-free surface. And what I mean by that is that the water tends to bead, it tends to break, it doesn't slide off uniformly. And you'll certainly see the difference once these parts are clean, and it's a good indicator that your parts are clean enough. So again, you can see how the water starts to break and it becomes dry and beads on the part. And that's really, any place where it breaks is an indicator where a contaminant lies. So focus on those areas when you're cleaning. Okay, so now that I have the parts sufficiently rinsed, I'm going to start cleaning them with soap. And I'm really going to, I want this whole surface soapy. I have to apply quite a bit of elbow grease to this process. You know, scrubbing like this will not do. This is just you know, not gonna cut it. You gotta really work into that soap into the surface of the material. Focus in on these holes. The holes in the part are really going to trap contaminants, and so you got to flush all those contaminants out and make sure you get some of these bristles into the holes. That's where the dirt likes to hang out. So do that side, flip it over, start doing this side. Okay, so once I've cleaned those off sufficiently, or scrubbed it sufficiently, I'm just going to get all the soap off and then check to see if the surface is a break-free surface. And so now I want to make sure you can see this. The surface does not bead, it doesn't break, the water just sort of runs down the part uniformly and smoothly, and still it actually starts to dry before it breaks. So I can start to see this outer edge dry. That's a little bit different than a particle there breaking the surface. So this is a dirty part. Let's just compare the two. So a nice clean part here. And then I can see that it's beading, and there's contaminants on this part, which I have not cleaned yet. Okay, so I'll take this clean part, I'll just set it over here, and I'll start cleaning this part too. Now this part has a lot more holes in it, so I'm going to need to focus in on those holes. So I want you to clean like you're doing a workout, like your arm is getting tired. That is how much force you should be applying to your scrubbing. So I can definitely feel that my arms are going to be sore tomorrow, and that's, you know, an indicator how much force you have to apply to get this part clean. Okay, so there's grooves on this part here. Those are, you know, major contaminant areas. So make sure you clean out those grooves. Get those grooves nice and clean, because that's where the contaminants like to lie. Now you may ask yourself, well, isn't there like maybe some sort of cleaning process where you could just dip the parts into a bath and clean them? You know, you may be asking yourself, is this really what they do in industry to make parts, or to clean parts before anodizing? And the answer is no. They don't do this in industry, typically. They would use, you know, special cleaning chemicals that actually, you know, are quite nasty to work with. You need a lot of controls in processing those chemicals. You need heightened safety procedures to make sure that those chemicals are, you know, being worked with safely, to avoid injury with your employees. So we tend not to use them because they're just you know, too hard to process here at the college. So we're just washing these vigorously, and we get pretty good results. So that's a break-free surface, very nice, way better than before. So I'll just set that aside there too. I'm running out of soap here, so I'm just going to apply more soap to my brush and start cleaning. So you can see the amount of bubbles that I'm working with here. If you're running out of bubbles, that's an indicator that you're running out of soap. And you need to get more. So, all right, pretty good here. Good here. So on this side, I'm actually seeing a lot of fingerprints and things like that. I'm gonna work those out. So I don't, even though I have a break-free surface, I still do not like the look of those fingerprints, and I think those will carry through in the process. And you know, you'll end up with a part that looks like it's been handled by somebody with greasy fingers. So the back side's got shorter bristles that tend to be a little bit stiffer. So if you have some difficult areas to clean, you could use those to get a little bit of more of a deep clean. Okay, so I got a break-free surface there. And you guessed it, the hole is going to be a focus area of cleaning. On this part, I might use those stiffer bristles to get in there. Maybe use the longer bristles to really get in the bearing hole of the bearing support. There's holes on the bottom of this part. You're going to want to get in there as well. Still getting a little bit of beading down here, so I'm going to focus in on that area. So sometimes the part always you know, breaks in a certain area, and that may not be a contaminant. That may be a scratch or a burr, something. So and sometimes you may not even be able to see that scratch or that burr, but it's quite possible there's one there, and the surface tends to break. The water tends to break at that point. Okay, so that part I believe is clean, and these parts, lots of holes in them to trap contaminants, oils, and things like that. So I'm gonna soap up the brush again, get these parts nice and clean. Yeah, my arms are going to be sore tomorrow, that's for sure. So this part is a bit challenging to see if it has a break-free surface, but if you've washed this part just like the other parts, or maybe even a little bit more, then I think you've done a sufficient job. All right, one more part here. Okay, so that took me about 15 minutes to clean all of these parts, and that's sort of an indicator of how long this process should take. Now I'm just finally doing a rinse to get all of the soap suds off of the parts. Okay. So that concludes the video on cleaning the parts.